Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included, episode 32. So some tips pointed out to me. The first one, probably the most important one, from Alex, was that my temp shift plates were built poorly. This is because the way I laid them out, they are spilling their heat to the nearby insulated tiles, which means that we are not putting the heat directly into only the steam, and I will aim to fix that immediately. I also noticed something else as I was starting to record. Our dear friend, One Who Is Many, is totally marooned up here. So I've turned on red alert, and I've said that this ladder here and the dig is of utmost importance because he's stuck. He is a builder. He's not a digger, so he can't get out of there. He just can't. The focus of this episode is going to be a better power station. Probably multiple power stations, but a better power station. Because I have geysers that help to produce power for me, but they're not always active, and they're a little bit unreliable. And it's going to be a lot better for me in the long run if I have a diverse power source. If I have a little steam, if I have a little hydrogen, if I have a little natural gas, if I have a little, maybe even petroleum, but I kind of doubt that. But yeah, that's going to be very, very important. Okay, so now, take it off of alert. So that's going to be the focus. In mentioning the focus of natural gas, I'd really like to make use of this natural gas over here. Which means I also then would want to start to add bottled petroleum so that I could create liquid locks with the petroleum. Petroleum has a lower freeze temperature than crude oil, and because the natural gas geyser is in a cold biome, I'm going to need something that freezes real nice. Alright, so as far as important projects go, I'm going to remove these temp shift plates as a higher priority. And then Turtle Sandwich had another tip for me, which was, wouldn't it make sense if I had these steam generators turn on at different temperatures? I couldn't agree more. So let me put in another AND gate made out of iron so it doesn't melt, and a double thermal sensor made out of iron so it doesn't melt. And then let's connect these up. This will break down. This automation wire here, I'm going to actually break down too. I'm going to actually replace all of my automation wire that is involved here with from lead to iron. And then I'm going to set this whole construction project up to 7s. And then I'm going to set the automation construction wire project up to 8s. That is my high priority task right now. And then secondarily, I want to be working on this. So let's set this all to 6. All right. That's a good start. Now, pretty soon our hydrogen vent will start outgassing, which means I can rely less on the electrolyzers, which will be very, very nice for my water supply. But I do have plans to deal with the water supply. So, let's put the temp shift plates back in, but just make sure they don't border anything. Like that. That is totally fine. Get that up to 7. And then this thermal sensor here is going to say, hey, if above, let's say, 200, activate. Let's take a look at the automation. We do have some problems with the automation right now. There we go. So we'll get the temp shift plates built. And then we'll start generating steam power more reliably. Hey, printables! So, I am very much wanting to make another builder. A farmer ranching cook is less useful to me because we have 2 ranchers and we have a cook and a farmer. I'm going to print steel because we definitely don't need another researcher. One could have made the argument that tofu would have been helpful too, but oh well. Another thing, my Poke are very much starving, so I actually had a plan for that. So, as I said, I wanted a big power grid, right? Well, one of the things I could do, if I wanted a really big power grid, is to add this whole area here to my base and have it be like the power grid area. And one of the things that I could do to feed my Poke is to put a lot of polluted water through a sieve to make polluted dirt so that they have something to eat. Because right now, as you can see, well, actually, that one's extraordinarily old and is going to die of old age and won't lay eggs or anything. But there are some other Poke around here. Like this one's very young. And if I do add them, I'm going to want to add them so that they don't starve to death. And I'm doing, honestly, I'm not really generating a lot of food sources for them at the moment, if I'm being honest. So they would run the risk of starving if I'm being frank. Now, the last tip I got was from Sarev. Sarev said, for my electrolyzers, wouldn't it make sense to use this pretty much infinite source of water? And it would. And I'd like to work on that as a side project at some point. Alright, so here comes the temp shift plates. Making sure that the automation wires all look correct. Thermal sensor at 180, thermal sensor 200, and gate. Yep, it all looks correct. Great. So as soon as the steam chamber in here gets hotter, we'll be generating steam power. Okay, we have 2 Poke up here now. So all the temp shift plates are, all but one is done. And yeah, here we go. As you can see, the steam is cooking. Awesome. So the next big project will be to turn this whole area into base space. It's a pretty big project, but one massive power control station would go, oh, it would be glorious. It would be glorious. And we do have a main line running here, so it wouldn't even be all that difficult to do. To sort of reset up my power grid for this station. I'm actually excited about this. Very, very excited. I think it's pretty much long overdue, and the base has been suffering without it, so. Alright, I'm going to start mopping up polluted water and running it through this bottle emptier. Let's start filtering this water. We've got 3 cycles until the geyser starts going off again. Oh boy, that is way too much petroleum. I forgot about that. But that's for the liquid locks up here. So we can put those bottle emptiers in. And all of this going to be 6. Actually, let's set everything to 6, including the digs. Alright, making sure we have... Yep, I need some more stones. Well, that's actually a pretty good amount of petroleum we got there. 480 kilograms. And the petroleum's going to be dumped here. So let's go, say, petroleum at 9 gets dumped there. And then speaking of which, come on, let me mop. Steam, full power ahead. I'm liking this. As you can see, we are now generating a whole bunch of steam power. And that will run every time our refiner runs. And I suspect we're going to run the refinery quite a bit now that we're in the age of steel. Still waiting for more of that to pump out. But as you can see, we are already delivering petroleum. Yes, I could have used something like, I could have used crude oil, I guess, too. But there'd be the risk that it would freeze if that cold biome got any colder. I doubt it would, right? Like, things generally don't get colder on their own. They only get hotter on their own. But come on, it should be moppable soon. Oh, and they're delivering it to the liquid lock. Let's go. Let me mop it. Yep, current wattage, 98% of its capacity. It does sort of indicate that my thresholds are very, very good. If they're at pretty much full capacity, nearly full capacity. You don't want it over capacity, because then you're, again, as I said, you are wasting heat. If you let your steam get too hot, your steam generator will delete heat inefficiently. Jeez, still too much liquid? There we are, there we are. Off. And these mops I'm going to set to 9. Alright, I'm actually going to hotkey this area, so let's say this is Control 1, and this will be Control 2. And now I can Shift 1 and Shift 2 between them. I don't usually use this all that often because I find it jarring to do. But in this instance, it's pretty helpful. So. I'm a little worried about this overflowing, so I'm going to cut it. Alright, let's work on this. Big time. And any petroleum we don't end up using for the liquid lock, we can always dump back in, right? Alright, please dig here. Yes, yes. And this liquid lock is totally done. Now we just want this one. Alright, so petroleum. And sweeping up everything that's in here. So now that liquid lock is done, I can start to set up a gas pump. It also means that I'm going to need to run power, which is why I've built this here. This is going to run the power to the pump. New printables. Ranching, digging, building won't cook. I like you. Is there anyone better? No. That is a lot of lime to pass up, but hey, here's a new dupe. Here's a new dupe. So this new dupe is going to be stuck on the treadmill until their athletics get high enough. So operating at max. And we'll re-enable the hamster wheel. It's just an initiation ceremony that they're going to be stuck doing. Alright, so it looks like this liquid lock is done as well. So back down here. We'll still mop it up. I might want petroleum for other liquid locks. Alright. And then let's do... Okay, you've already self-assigned a bed. Let's self-assign a... Or let's manually assign a mess table. And, yeah, congratulations. I also think that you start with a few skills, yes. So we'll work you towards exosuit training initially. And I have to make sure that, she doesn't do anything else. I could even disable it, honestly, because I just care about her running. Yeah, I'll do that. I just care about her running on that treadmill. Alright, so we're going to follow her around a little bit. Make sure she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. She's wearing her hat. And then she is going to the rock crusher. Okay, so no, you don't do that. Once the manual generator is enabled, hang on a minute. Go over there and lock. Nope. I have to tell her that toggling is now her priority. And then priorities, no more toggling. Now she's just, yep, perfect. All on that treadmill, generating power. How's my geyser? NASA activity, 0.8 cycles. So while that is about to start spilling out hydrogen, I'm going to close my oxygen vents that I'm venting out to nowhere. I also want to, let's get the plumbing lines up. And then down here, we're going to have to reset this up. Because originally this was going to be for natural gas. Or petroleum, rather. So I have to retool this for polluted water. But there we go. We got that done. Taking a look up here, seems like our guys kind of abandoned this a bit. I'm gonna have to raise the priorities, and I also want to sweep everything that doesn't belong here out. And then we'll start digging this out. And this dig here is going to be a big old 9. I want to do that immediately. Okay, so I've just hotkeyed my base like this now. Now, if I'm about to start processing a ton of polluted water, let me empty out my reservoir first. There is the geyser. I'm going to analyze it right away. Let's sweep that up and wire the gas pump. All right, another thing I wanted to do is, oh, I didn't do it quick enough. I was going to say these probably allow for liquefiables, but it's too little too late. We've already got a water spill. At least it's contained, but I'll mop that up as well. Alright, so pretty soon here we're going to have this polluted water pumping through the sieve. One of the advantages of this is it will produce polluted dirt, which then we can feed the pokies that are probably starving. Come on, let me click you. Yeah, they're pretty hungry. So we'll analyze this geyser so I know its dormancy cycles. Oh, there's some polluted water in here too. I'm surprised the polluted water hasn't, well, I can mop it up, I guess. But I'm just surprised it hasn't frozen. But I guess it's not quite at the right temperature. So yeah, I might need to put my bottle emptiers back, because some of this is polluted water and not petroleum, which is incorrect. So it doesn't really hurt to have the bottle emptiers here full time, so I'll just put them back. Alright, so you're reporting no power, are you? Why would that? Oh, because yeah, that is not completed, is it? Construction task 7. Hey, look at that. A lot of steam power. Because our steam chamber is nice and toasty. That's really good news, honestly. Really good news. Okay, so this pump is now in vacuum. That was... Oh, no, it's not. Because it's... Yeah, the polluted water is going to be outgassing. So, it's going to take a minute. So I need to get rid of the polluted water and replace it with petroleum. And there's a bit of polluted water here. So let's set this mop up to 9. It's actually going to be a little annoying to fix, if I'm going to be honest. But what I could do is just put enough petroleum there to, like, flood out the polluted water. So this thing is clearly dormant, but I'm just curious about its next activity period. So, liquid, petroleum, go. And then this polluted water, get rid of it. Alright, so this pump here is kind of pointless because it's just pumping circular like this. I'll disable it until I actually have petroleum locks. I didn't really manage to get actual petroleum locks here. not quite. We do have tons and tons of petroleum over here, so I actually don't think I need a drip anymore. So let's just set this up to a 9 sweep. And that should be enough. Okay, we almost have this analyzed. It's, as you can see, the progress bar is just about completed. And now we are pumping out this puddle. That's going to give us a bunch of polluted dirt to feed our pokey. And it's also going to allow us to reclaim this whole area, which is maybe the even more important part. Okay, so as far as I could tell, petroleum, yeah, this is fully a petroleum lock now. So I could get this back on and start to fill up the other lock with petroleum. Alright, so as far as ventilation goes, I'm going to put steel gas pump in here, just in case this geyser outgasses hot. Outgasses 300 Fahrenheit, so steel isn't, it actually isn't necessary. Well, let's see. Ventilation, gas pump. Yeah, no, it's not all that necessary. I'll reserve my steel for more important things. But while this is dormant, well, next activity, whoa, that is really, really soon. I would like to pump out all this oxygen, which is obviously not natural gas, but it looks like next activity is too soon. So let's also then take a look at the ventilation lines. So we have insulated ventilation lines. I don't believe, no, at no point in this line do we actually filter non-natural gas out. So I'm going to put a filter in. And I've put a filter in, I guess, right here. Well, I could put a filter in actually closer to the base. That might make more sense. So let's put it in here. Now that I'm pumping this polluted water, I'm also going to have to be very cognizant of my water levels. Alright, so let's get the filter in. This will be a element sensor to a gas shutoff to a high pressure vent. And then automation wire. And then I'll just heavy wad it. Alright. That will make sure that the stuff that we capture from here is not anything but natural gas sent to the tanks. Alright. Are you telling me that I am out of petroleum to dump? No, I am not. No, I am not. I think I've just set too many things to 9 at this point, that nothing is set to 9. Oh, no, there we are. That might be enough. Nope. Takes about 700 at the bottom. So we need another delivery of 200 or so. New printables, digging, farming, early bird, that's okay. Digging, operating, farming, but anemic, that's not great. And then you never build. I guess omelets. Hello, omelets. So 95 seconds, we're going to start to get natural gas out of the natural gas geyser. We've got a very healthy amount of steel coming out of here. This is tuned up, so it's actually pumping out 1.2k kilowatts, which is amazing. at 95% capacity. That is just awesome. What the heck happened here? I don't know, but I will mop that up too. I'm sure it was liquefiables that spilled out somehow. Maybe. I'm actually not even sure. But I can clean it up. And if it happens again, I'll track down the problem. Alright, so that's going to be an unreachable build. But not anymore. This looks done. Yep. Totally done. So we do have a liquid lock, which means the cables here can get broken down. And same can be said of the ventilation. And the pump itself. Break all that down, reclaim the materials. And let's take a look. Here, we are going to filter for natural gas. Huh, that's a copper gas shutoff? Maybe I don't want it copper. I have a very limited amount of copper. I don't know why I'm saving it, but I could save it if I want, right? I have lead, however, is a material I have a lot of, so... For non-temperature sensitive things, I love using lead. How are you guys? You're starving 8 cycles. You're not starving yet. Yeah, I'm not doing a really great job of feeding them all that much. I'm sort of curious where all of my edibles are. So... I've got omelets there. I've got a ton of food that is currently spoiling here, but it's not going to be enough to feed Pokies. I don't know. It might be very, very difficult, if I'm being honest, to sufficiently feed the Pokies. I can keep maybe 1, 2 at most. But I might just have to settle for that. And be happy with the fact that I just have a few. Alright, let's get rid of this polluted oxygen. Storage unavailable, that's a lie. Oh, that's a polluted water, I mean. But yeah, storage is available. We just need to dump it. Thank you. Alright, back to the original project. Here we go. As you can see, now we have natural gas flooding out. Let's get... Let's get this wired up. Oh, of course, destroyed the, oh well. Of course, destroyed the power transformer, which was pointless. Because I still need a pump. Alright, and then this becomes the belle of the ball, the current focus of them all. And before all of this stuff melts too much, I really, really, really want to mop up this water. As you can see, it's constantly phase shifting, which is kind of funny. Alright, my reservoirs are filling up. Got to keep an eye on that. Well, that was a very, very minor amount. One thing I could do is have like a liquefiables bin here, just so I have somewhere to put this stuff. That would be good. Okay, let's go capture some natural gas, shall we? Now these tanks, and honestly these tanks are probably all going to be relocated up to the unified power grid area once this project is done. It's going to be a while. It's going to actually be a real long time. But I think it is pretty necessary for the long-term survival of these dupes. Okay, let's cycle our water into the aquifer, into our well, whatever you want to call it. Reservoir. We're good. I'm going to have to be pretty attentive about this. But the advantage of sieving out all this stuff is we are going to get some polluted dirt for our pokies to eat. Alright, here we go. Natural gas and oxygen coming through the lines. Let's make sure my filtration was set up correctly. It's powered on, so it should be alright. And my hydrogen supply is slowly going up because of the hydrogen vent now, too. Alright, so soon all of the oxygen will be pumped out of here, and it will be pretty reliably just hydrogen. Let's say liquefiables at 1. And sweep, please. Sweep, sweep, sweep. And if done right, the oxygen gets farted out to the left, and the natural gas will start to fill up my natural gas tanks. Now, unless I start using this natural gas for a reason, it will slowly build up and then back up. But at least we're now collecting it. Right? At least we're now collecting it. Okay, so this is all... It all melted. That's okay. We did manage to get some liquefiables in here in time. I just want to correct this once and for all. And now I do believe, like, if we go to the gas overlay, this will start to get polluted oxygen because of the water, the polluted water that's going to outgas. But soon this will be pure natural gas. And then if I want to, I could even remove the... It's only 10 watts, but I could remove the filter here, because it's just going to be natural gas. And as you can see, my natural gas reservoirs are filling up quick. This was a really good project, because it's really anything that comes out of a geyser is free. And if you have power issues and you have a natural gas geyser you haven't tapped, you have untapped power. Wait, why is this disabled? Hold on, let me figure this out. The power is between 0 and 95%. The temperature's hot. Why are you outputting red? Why is this a red signal? Wow, that just kicked on in a big way. Oh, because I didn't do the thresholds right. There we go. Now it's just going to constantly keep our batteries topped up above 90%. Alright, that works for me. Alright, yep. now the steam is being used to just keep the grid topped up constantly, which means we are not even using hydrogen, which is probably in the long run pretty good for us. Another thing I need to do over here is probably an Atmos sensor with an automation wire, just so that we're not we don't have this cranked all the time, this gas pump, because if it's really thin in here, there's really not much of a point to have it cranked. Farmer, rancher, dig supply, but way too many negative traits. Hello, coal, I guess. Hey, at least I did print one dupe. Granted, she's been running on our wheel forever, and she probably will until her athletics get her exosuit wearing. But hey, at least technically we do have one. Alright, we are out of refined carbons. Let's do a run of, let's say, 15 more. That's what's holding up the additional steel. And I'm making a whole lot of steel here. I have 7 tons of it so far. But you need a lot of steel when you get to space. Trust me on this. Oh, this is bad. There we are. Let me pause this for a minute, because our sewer reservoir filled up. Alright, copious free time. Are you building this, please? Yes. Wonderful. Alright, if above 1,000, let's say, yeah, 1,000 grams is fine. Signal on, if not. And this will save me a lot of power in the long run. That Atmos sensor. Because it's not going to constantly kick on and be annoying. And as you can see here, the heat of this geyser really is not too terrible to its surrounding. Especially if I dig up, let's see, if I dug up around it so that the insulated tiles don't border very much, it would help to keep the heat in. Or the heat, you know, isolated. Excess petroleum that I don't have anywhere for it to go will get dumped back in. Natural gas, as you can see, has been very quickly filled up. Liara's athletics is going up, and I'm going to have to remind myself to assign her when she is, for next episode, give her a patron owner. I think one of you guys, oh no, it could have been old age actually. Yeah, the younger one's still here, so I'm guessing the other one, the other Pokey I had, just literally died of old age. Alright, I'm sweeping up the polluted water. And here we go, the Atmos sensors triggering only when there's pressure enough to warrant it. So I got to start working on the next really big project, which is the massive power grid. The massive power grid. That's going to be a hell of a thing. So I'll start digging for it. I'm planning on emptying these puddles into this area so that I have one pump that services them all. One of the real nice benefits of this project is it will generate food for my Pokespawn and refill my water supply because I'm filtering all this polluted water. So that's kind of nice. That is a nice added benefit, I suppose. I'm going to need a ton of deodorizers and make sure the Buddy Buds are running in full swing. Make sure my sinks don't run out of, you know, whatever. My sinks don't run out of chlorine. And then I'll start setting up the sort of ladder system that allows us to dig what is appropriate. This is a big project, and I know this, in a way, delays space, but one of the things that space gives you is solar power, right? You know, it gives you the sun when you get there. And if we don't have a better power station that's able to handle space and solar power and all that stuff, you know, it will be a bit of a waste. So that's one of the reasons why I'm pushing for it. Okay, natural gas is actually almost full. It's kind of funny to me a little bit. Alright, so the Great Dig has begun. I think there's enough volume in here to allow for this to be dug out at a quick glance. So I'll do that. But I think this is a project for next episode. So, just to recap, we've pretty much fully finished the Steam project, right? This is sort of doing its own thing. I don't really need to tell it to do anything else. It is generating steam, it's generating power, it's generating steel. We're backed up on lime on steel. Well, I can't make lime out of nowhere, but what else did we do? We tapped the natural gas geyser, which has been really, really cool. One thing I'm going to need to do is then also tap this geyser too, so that's a separate project of sort of removing the slime and isolating the water and using the water for my electrolyzer. Or whatever else I wanted to. And then, of course, this giant new power grid, which will go really everything that's annexable out here, I'm going to add to the base. And, you know, the point of this is so that we can have plenty of room for our hydrogen generators, our natural gas generators, which require even more room, coal, you know, solar. Solar won't be built in here, of course, but, you know, battery banks for the solar or whatever. If you have any feedback for me, do drop me a line in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did too. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, friends.